Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 8 of Park Car Conversations. I hope that everyone's doing well, everyone's had a great week, you had a great November. And in today's episode, so it's the first Park Car Convo episode of December. It's officially the cold season, and I wanted just to talk about don't wait to lock in, don't wait for January to lock in, right? Because I feel like a lot of people will say, yeah, like for now I'm gonna just keep doing what I'm doing, and then once January hits, once that new year hits, then I'm gonna lock in, then I'm gonna really put those New Year's resolutions into work. But I never believed in New Year's resolutions, right? It's just because it's a new year doesn't mean that it's a new you, right? You think that, yeah, since the calendar changes, since the year changes, then I'm a lock in. Once that day hits, the next day, then I'm gonna start. But if you have that mindset, then it'll just run out until, because you're only doing it because of a day that changed. You're doing it because something external changed, and it wasn't an internal thing that happened with you, right? It was, oh, it's New Year's, everybody makes resolutions. What's something that I've always wanted to do that I've never done, right? But it has to start internally. It has to start with you. You have to want to change, right? It has to be, I'm gonna change. It's the change starts now. The change starts today, right? Because a lot of people will wait for tomorrow to happen, wait for tomorrow to start working, but tomorrow never happens, right? A lot of people will wait for the opportunity. They'll wait for the new year in order to change. But New Year's resolutions, like most things that we know, never work out. New Year's resolutions, most of the time, I would like to say 9 out of 10 times don't work. Even 10 out of 10 times don't work. You set so many New Year's resolutions in your past. You wanted to be consistent in the gym, right? There's always that joke about the gym is always so busy the first 2 weeks of January, but then after the 2 weeks it dies down, right? People will only do things when the motivation is there, right? When the hype is there. But it's, you have to keep doing things long after that excitement, long after you were in that mood, right? Because a lot of people, when it hits New Year's, they're in that mood, right? They're in that, yeah, it's grind time, it's grind season, now I'm a lock in. But it's, you have to keep doing it long after you don't feel like it anymore. A lot of people will only do it when they feel like it. A lot of people will only do certain things when they feel like it. But discipline is doing things regardless of how you feel, right? Discipline will separate you from being average to being good, and then being disciplined, and then putting 100% effort in every single time. Whether that's, if you show up one day and you give, say, 100%, right? You think that that's 100%. You lifted, say you lifted 200 pounds and that was all you could do. You could lift 200 pounds and that was the max that you could do, right? But then the next day you were only able to lift 180 pounds. And now you're like, oh, I'm not putting in as much effort as I was that previous day. But you have to understand that day you could only lift 180 pounds and that was your max effort. So understand that days will always look different. You'll always have good days, you'll have bad days, and you'll have better days. Sometimes you'll have worse days, right? So you can't say that, oh, I had a bad day, so now I can just lack off and now it's over. Now I didn't put enough effort in, so now my time is over, right? I'm not locked in anymore, but it's just putting 100% effort in all the time. So stop waiting for the opportunity, right? Because I feel like a lot of people will wait for an opportunity when we have to create them. A lot of people will say, yeah, but sometimes things are just placed in front of me. It's not that it's placed in front of you, it's that you put yourself in a position in order to be there for the opportunity, right? It's like you've been applying for jobs, you've been talking around, you've been asking people, hey, is there any job openings, right? And then one day you're like, oh, someone called me back, and the job just came out of nowhere, and now I have this job. But it's not that this job came out of nowhere, right? It's not, I don't believe in right place at the right time. I believe that everything that happens is for a reason. Everything that happens is because of a cause, right? There was a cause and an effect, right? It's not just the effect. There has to be a cause in order for there to be an effect, right? You're not gonna one day wake up and become in shape, right? It's a cause. You go to the gym, you diet, you eat healthier. The cause is that, and the effect is now you're healthier. Now you have that body that you've always been working towards. Now you can lift more than you've ever been able to, right? You can run that 5K in 15 minutes when before you could run it in 25. You don't just one day wake up and be able to run that 5K in 15 minutes, right? There's always a cause and effect to everything, and it's like opportunities too. There's no opportunity that just comes forth. Every opportunity, there was a cause that the opportunity had to have happened. Whether that's, say, you went to school and then that was the cause, and the effect is now that you got that degree, and now you put yourself in a position in order to get that job, even though you don't think that you did anything for it. You did. Nothing is given to you. Nothing in life is free, right? Nothing in life is ever free. There's always a cost to everything, and in order to lock in, you have to be obsessed with whatever it is you're doing, right? You can't just go through the motions daily and repeat the same things and expect different results, right? For the longest time, I was just going through the motions, right? I was just going to the gym, repping it out, going home. I wasn't keeping track of what weight I was doing and how many reps I was doing before, right? Because how do you know that you're getting better if you don't know where you started, right? So keep track of your progress. Know where you were, know where you are, and know where you want to go, right? Know where you want to be, and have a plan to get there, right? Because you don't know if you're getting better if you're not keeping track of it. So don't wait for opportunities. Don't wait for a certain time period in order to start your grind, in order to start working for what you want. Tomorrow never happens. You have to start today, right? So I feel like a lot of people will choose to stay the same. You have to choose change, right? If you keep doing what you're doing, then nothing's ever going to change in your life. You have to be the one to choose to change. You have to look at your life, and you have to look at what's adding to it and what's taking away from it, right? Is what I'm doing making me better? Is what I'm doing making me worse? Is who I'm hanging out, is what I'm eating making me better or making me worse, right? Looking at your environment, looking at what you consume, right? Because a lot of people will not really be mindful of our consumption, but what we put in is what we get out, right? If we look at brain rot all day on TikTok, on Reels, on Shorts, right, then are we gonna get better, or are we just gonna lower our attention span? Are we just gonna need dopamine to function, right? Are we gonna be addicted to our phones, right? Or do we listen to those podcasts that are preaching positivity? Do we listen to those podcasts that are trying to make us better people? Do we watch our diet, right? Because it's also what you consume in food wise, right? Are you consuming just junk, or are you eating real good food, real natural foods, right? So you wonder why you're always tired. It's because you're not sleeping. You're not sleeping well. Your body needs to rest in order to function, right? So just look at your life. There's a cause and effect for everything in your life. If your life isn't going the way that you want it to, there's a reason. You're doing certain things that are keeping you in the place that you're in. You're not doing anything more, so you're not getting more, right? If you do the same, you'll always get the same. But if you do more, then you're bound to get more. And it's not a question of if you're gonna get more, but when. Because I feel like a lot of people will be consistent at something for 2 weeks and wonder, where are my results? Why isn't that six-pack that I've been doing abs for 2 weeks, why isn't it showing yet? Right? But you have to be dedicated to it. You have to be obsessed with it for a long period of time. It takes a long time to build things that are worth it, right? Things that are worth it always take time. You don't want those cheap, fast tricks, right? You never want that. You never want things that are fast. You don't want fast money. You want long-term things, right? If you want a long-term relationship, if you want a good relationship, it takes time to get to that point. You don't just meet someone and have that relationship, right? It takes time to build that trust. It takes time to build that bond with that person, right? So don't be discouraged if you're locked in and you're not seeing the results you wanted. And if you've been putting in consistent effort and it's not what you wanted, it's not what you thought it was, look at what you're doing, right? Are you putting in 50% effort, or are you putting in 100? If you're only putting in 50% effort, you're only going to get 50 back, right? But if you always put in 100% effort, if you always change the way you're doing things because a certain thing isn't working, then you're obsessed, right? Then things will change, right? You can't expect to do the same and get different. That's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same and expecting different results. So don't wait for January to lock in. Don't wait for January to change. You shouldn't have to wait for a New Year's resolution in order to change. You have to choose change, right? Don't let the calendar choose change for you, because then it'll never last. It'll only last when it's an internal change, not an external change, right? You have to be the one, not the calendar, not the year, right? 2025 won't change who you are. You will. So start today. Start now. Don't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow never happens. So I hope everyone's had a great day, great week. I hope everyone's staying warm, and if there's anything that you want me to talk about, any advice or any feedback for me on my point, anything that you agree with, anything you don't, I'm always open to it. So I hope everyone's doing well. See you on the next one.